Hello.
Flowers bloom for tomorrow. As you wish. Stop messing around.
Wow.
Your time to shine. Till we meet again. Embrace a new life. Return to dust. Night falls. Good night. That kind of hurts. Dispel the gloom. Restore the skies. Have some sunshine. Stars, shine for the heroes.
You just ended live stream. I wanted to end it so that my family could fall asleep. And now that they've fallen asleep, I can stream because they don't wake up that easily. It's not going to be a long stream though, because it's like late.
Press light into darkness. Flowers bloom for tomorrow. Rise and shine. Show me the way. Dispel the gloom. Restore the skies. Root here. Embrace a new life. Darkness with me.
Yao Guang doom posting? Yes. People are doom posting Yao Guang for Silverwolf because her ult's aha instant punchline doesn't count towards Sylvie's ult, which it literally makes zero fucking difference. Like they're trying to nitpick the smallest anti-synergy and then ignoring all the other synergy because they're trying to justify skipping Yao Guang as much as possible. And they're like heavily downplaying Yao Guang. Heavily.
Stars, shine for the heroes as you wish. Embrace a new life. The ending is as we've written. Memories waiting to be woken up by a shooting star. Remember me with love. My time.
I mean, I don't think there's any point in running Asheville with Ratio. You can if you really like Ratio, but it's like, it's one of those things where you are really holding back the character by putting with someone so much worse.
Night falls. Good night. The ending is as we've written. Return to dust. Rise and shine. That kind of hurts.
And you said you're gonna sleep? No, I said I wanted to let my family sleep.
Treat our guests nicely.
So I ended the stream so that my talking would let them sleep.
Embrace a new life.
Or me not talking.
Night falls. Good night. Rise and shine.
Oh, good.
Dispel the gloom. Restore the skies.
Yeah, I actually went out of my way, literally like a few minutes before I started the stream. I just wanted to double check, right? Because the way people talk about Yao Guang, you'd think that her SP positivity is like shit. You don't even need to consider it. So I went out of my way to check like a full E0 S1 Sparksy team to see, you know, how much SP positive is Yao Guang in like a 0 cycles time period. Brother, try and guess how SP positive Yao Guang was in numbers in that 0 cycle. Try to guess how much SP she generated. That wouldn't have been possible if she wasn't there.
Don't blink. Make time. Watch over the Evernight.
6 more.
Hatred with love. The ending is as we've written. Dispel the gloom.
It's double digits.
Embrace a new life. Night falls. Good night. The ending is as we've written. Return to dust.
12? Yeah, around there. So, what people forget when it comes to Yao Guang's ult Aha instant is that not only does she herself generate a skill point, but the extra Elation skill by Sparksy allows her to generate 2 Thrill, which she can use in place of skill points for her Elation skill. So she gets 2 Aha instants off in the 0 cycle, which alone, by the way, is plus 6 skill points. You then have the normal Aha instants, which are plus 1 skill point from Yao Guang, because they still would exist even without Yao. And then you also have her basics. So she had about 12 or 13 SP generated within a 0 cycle. There isn't a single third slot in this game that comes anywhere near Yao Guang for SP positivity, at least in her best in slot team.
Have some sunshine. Stars, shine for the heroes. Memories waiting to be woken up by a shooting star. Remember me with
So this is why it's like
new life.
people will try to nitpick something small that is slightly unsynergistic when her entire kit is dedicated towards mono elation and SP positivity, and they'll just ignore that. It's like, come on, man. Let's get real, bro.
Dispel the gloom. Restore the skies.
What is Sparkle doing there? I mean, if you're running main DPS Sparksy, obviously the goal is to like consume fucking 8-9 skill points every single turn. So that's why you use Sparkle plus Yao Guang's SP positivity, and why it's so effective.
Return to dust.
But as a sub DPS, she doesn't need to consume this like 9 skill points every single fucking turn. So how bad of an idea is it to skip Elation as a whole? You can skip just fine, bro. Like, it is gonna be the most chilled team in the game, but who cares? Like, you guys should already know this by now. In version 2, you had the other main pushes of like Fei Xiao Firefly, who still ended up aging very well as compared to Acheron. In version 3, Anoxa DPS, Evernight main DPS. Like, there's a few teams, Phanon and his Eidolon investment, that can compete with Mono Rem, right? Like, if you don't want to go for Elation, you're gonna be fine. People take, you know, pass shilling too seriously. You really don't need it. Yeah, I think Asheville's follow-up animation will get slightly updated, but not like a lot. But I do think it'll get slightly updated on the follow-up. The ult already looks really good. Nice, Solus. What should my account go for? I have an E1 Fae. Do I go for Asheville and E2 Fae, or do I go for Mono Elation Sylvie team? I mean, just go for whatever is more fun to you, man. Honestly. An E2 Fae with Asheville sounds pretty nice, but Mono Elation is obviously the better choice, like, no matter what. I can't say anything else, sorry. Like, it's pretty obvious. What people don't think, right? And this is the problem. A lot of people struggle to predict the future. Buff Sparkle being as strong as she is, and now Asheville having these disgusting ass buffs for follow up that most people didn't expect, is likely a sign that we are about to get power creep on the ante, right? Silverwolf is going to be stronger than likely more than what you and I think. Yes, that includes me. I will probably be taken aback when that woman drops and we see the Silverwolf Sparksy Yao Guang team in action. That is a real possibility. Because I don't know, man. They made Dahlia, they made Asheville have as broken bullshit he does in his broken ass investment. They got fucking it's disgusting, bro. This Bus Sparkle, like, yeah, they'll get stronger for sure throughout the version. In my opinion, I've talked about. I actually think Asheville's best team will probably be one of the best teams in the game, right? Because according to Anon, it seems like his team, his best in slot one, should be near the end of the version. So like, if this is true, the last team of a version has always been strong. Like you got Fei Shao follow up, you got what's it called? You got what was version three's Evernight? Yeah, Evernight main DPS team. Like both of these teams were the strongest in MOC for their version. So I do think Asheville is actually a worthwhile investment, but you're not going to get the return on that investment for a long ass time. So it's like, but I do think he's probably good enough maybe to where you can just run him main DPS and still clear anyway, temporarily. Yeah, soulless. I think EMC. Okay, I think they did it differently this time. People keep thinking there's going to be an EMC upgrade. I think EMC's upgrade is Yao Guang, but EMC is a worse version of Yao Guang. Because from the leaks we have, it seems like EMC only targets one character, and their relation damage buffing on the cone isn't the craziest thing ever. Um, which is like this is Yao Guang's kit. Keep that in mind. EMC's current kit and what it's looking like, and theoretically, is matching Yao Guang's but weaker, which means we might not even get an EMC upgrade for the first time in a version. Like the technical EMC upgrade is Yao Guang. I'm so tired of people calling Yao Guang Tribby, bro. Like, holy man. If I have to see one more person call Yao Guang Tribby. Tribby, yes, they're comparing her to Tribby because Cassie ended up getting obviously Cyrene in her actual like sub DPS. They're like, oh, Tribby seemed best in slot at first, but then she got power crept, and it's like, bro, Tribby was never Cassie's best in slot. Get this shit out of your mind, man. Okay, they are completely different situations. Now, Yao Guang is more like Evernight, kinda. In terms of buffing, at least, she's like very similar to Evernight. You know how Evernight specifically targets Memo Sprites damage? Yao Guang does the same thing but for Elation damage. And then obviously she's more similar to the Cyrene because of the third slot, but Tribby Glaze back then was unreal. Oh, for sure. I mean, I glazed her myself with the E1. Still do. amazing alternative option at E1 if you don't have best in slot, third slots for a lot of teams. If Silverwolf directly ignores Yao Guang's ult punchline, I think it's clear Nihilux is probably EMC upgrade. No. No. Yao Guang's ult punchline being ignored doesn't mean shit if her entire rest of her kit is completely synergistic. Nihilux has a higher chance of being a Elation sustain than she does being a so-called EMC upgrade. Do you think Evanesia team would be on the same level as Silverwolf SP? Or do you think it would be in a Glayer caster situation? I mean, Evanesia is probably closer to an Anoxa situation. Like, she'll be strong, probably stronger than Asheville temporarily in Sparksy main DPS. She'll probably obviously get an upgrade down the line, but after that, that's it. Sylvie best in slot on releases with Sparksy, Yao Guang, and other sustain. Yeah, if I had to guess, it's probably going to be Huohuo, buffed Huohuo temporarily. Just so, like, you can spam Yao Guang ult more, and same with Sparksy. But the Elation sustain, whenever it comes out, is 100% going to be better than Huohuo. At least for the Elation teams. But temporarily buffed Huohuo would probably be best in slot. Wouldn't EMC being with Yao on the Evanesia team mean they're more likely a free Sparksy? No. Because if they were a free Sparksy, then they just use limited Sparksy as a best in slot on Evanesia's team, which they aren't. Because EMC and Sparksy do not do the same thing. EMC seems to be a budget version of Yao Guang that increases Elation damage percent and probably does something else as well. So, it's more like a budget. It's kind of, the best way I can explain it is like RMC Cyrene, right? Like, yes, technically Cyrene is supposed to be the upgrade over RMC, but let's all be fucking honest. 99% of these HSR zero cyclers just run Cyrene and RMC together on most teams anyways. That's how I see Evanesia using EMC and Yao Guang. I think it the exact same way. Why would they use EMC and Yao on the team if they both have the same roles? Once again, Cyrene is supposed to be the RMC upgrade, right? And Cyrene and RMC at the same time are ran together incredibly often on most 3.x teams. It's the same thing. You guys need to understand this. Evanesia is not a main push anymore. What does this mean? She is not getting the mono Elation team, and she is likely not getting a bunch of specific best in slots for her. So a lot of you may say, oh, but there needs to be an EMC upgrade for when we move on to the next MC. People said this for RMC. Let's be honest. Cyrene didn't replace RMC. Okay, let's be completely honest. Most people are still just using RMC plus Cyrene or RMC separately on a fuck ton of teams. It's probably going to be the same thing here. How are you feeling about Asheville? He looks strong, but right now, I mean, he'll probably be good enough to clear endgame content, but he's not going to be at his full potential anywhere near it until near the end of the version, probably. Yeah, exactly. It's the same with HMC Fugue. Do you think there's a possibility of EMC being a main DPS? No. Evanesia being sub? No. There's already a Herda Shop Elation light cone leaked that is specifically for Elation buffing, and the Herda Shop light cone for the new path is usually synergistic with the MC. So, probably not. EMC seems to be able to buff a specific character with Elation damage. What's your opinion on Sampo potentially being a main DPS? I do think it's for sure possible, but I don't know. Maybe. I lean more towards yes, and he might be the last DPS of the version, but at the same time, the follow up team should be finished near the end of the version too. So, I don't know, it could go either way. Yeah, exactly. Like, here's the thing you guys need to understand. EMC, him being like a single target buffer seemingly, automatically kicks him out of a Silverwolf team, right? Like in an Evanesia team, if she's a hyper carry, which it's seeming like she is, then it makes sense, right? Sparksy's buffing, although it exists, it's not that high, okay? Like Sparksy's overall buffing capability is not the highest in the world. However, EMC, who is probably going to be completely dedicated on buffing one character, would be stronger than Sparksy for a hyper carry. But in a team where you are targeting, let's say mono elation, everybody to do damage, you are never going to use a hyper carry character, right? Or a hyper carry buffer. Maybe you can, and it'll probably still clear anyway. I mean, I'm kind of over exaggerating here, but my point is, it'll never live up to the fully synergistic team on top of having an AoE buffer to buff everybody, right? So because Silverwolf is the Annie main push, she kind of needs an AoE buffer. You know what I'm saying? Like she needs it, and on top of this, Yao Guang's SP positivity is so through the fucking roof. I find it really hard to believe that they'd power creep Yao Guang in Silverwolf's team, right? Like keep in mind, Yao Guang is already probably leagues above any other third slot support option for Silverwolf currently. Any of them, right? Leagues. And then you expect that they possibly make another better version of Yao Guang, which makes this shit even worse. I think it's really unrealistic. I don't know. I really feel like it's unrealistic. Especially now that we know there is a follow up team in the works. Keep in mind, we are going to have Himiko's team as the second main push that they need to sell characters for. And during this second half of 4.x, they're likely also going to be selling characters for Asheville's team. So we have two confirmed DPSs who need to get their teams built later on in the version. I can't see really a Yao Guang replacement. I could see an upgraded version of EMC for hypercarry DPSs outside of monoelation. I don't know so much about what's it called? Like there being another upgrade over Yao Guang. Alleged Silverwolf test team uses EMC over Yao. Where does it say that? Is that like a leak that just came out or something? Because that doesn't exist. The team that Anon leaked that uses EMC over Yao. No, it uses both. Is Evanesia's, which is Yai's. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is just it's either waffling or he literally just leaked that on his Telegram. Either or. And people haven't posted it yet. Oh, 100% the Elation sustain is going to be SP positive. You guys need to understand, they did this with the Mono Remembrance team, so they're probably going to do it with the Mono Elation team. So I'm glazing Yao Guang's SP positivity. It fits fucking perfectly. However, yes, it still is not enough if you want to do like fucking 7 or 8 skills on Sparksy every single time she goes. My guess, Silverwolf SP will either consume no skill points or be SP positive, and the exact same will apply to the Elation sustain. And then when this entire team is done, it'll feel like butter. They always do this with the shield team, man. They make every single teammate perfectly synergistic. Yeah, the Yao Guang Lycone change was kind of eh. It's like, who cares? it, her Lycone to begin with was already pretty mid as compared to her E1, but now it's just 5 energy removed at the beginning of a wave. That's it. Oh, they reverted the change already? Oh, there you go. It's 15 again? Oh, okay. Yeah. When is team gameplay of Asheville coming? Usually a day and a half after the first gameplay leaks come out of like animations and stuff. Will Huohuo get replaced later in the Evanesia team? Yeah, probably. That is pretty likely. Do I get Yao Lycone or her E1 for Sparksy? Yao's E1 is always more worth it than her Lycone. People overhype the Lycone a lot because they act like her energy issues are like completely bricked, but they really aren't. I wouldn't say that the S1 is bad, but it's like a little bit of team crit buffing and then some energy gen and a speed boost, right? It's like a little bit here and there of everything, but none of it is like a considerable buff towards the team to really make it matter anywhere near as much as our E1. For those who don't remember what the E1 is, uh, her ult's Aha instant gains an extra 40 punchline, and she makes elation damage ignore 20% defense. From the calcs I've seen, that shit's like a 30% overall buff, which far surpasses the Lycone. Single character release in my HSR. What's happening? Hello, Bronte. Yeah, they've been doing it a lot recently. 3.7, 3.8, and 4.1. Yeah, Anon did say that after 4.2, the amount of elation characters we'll get are minuscule. So my guess is at max, there's like 3 elation more characters maybe. My guess is 2. I think there's probably going to be Sampo. I think there's going to be an elation sustain, and I think that's it. And the rest is going to be focusing on Himiko's team, the follow-up team, shit like that. 4.1 will only be a month or 4 weeks. So that means I get Silverwolf faster. Can't wait. My Silverwolf funds. LC enables 100% uptime. Probably. And the speed boost is also a little nice. But kind of outside of that, it's like pretty mid. But yes, you get a little better uptime. It's not like a Robin situation. In Robin's case scenario, the energy gen thing is like a lot more egregious because like Robin wholly relies on her ultimate for her value. Like if Robin isn't in her ultimate, it's like, well, you know, what the fuck is she even doing on the team? But it's not really like that for Yao Guang. Her buffs in base are already so fucking strong. So the light cone doesn't make the biggest difference in the world. 50% damage bonus? Yeah, that shit's... oh, that's just trash. I think the funniest part about Asheville is the fact that I do... Okay, there's no gameplay. I think Asheville is best in slot for Archer. I think this guy deadass got another buff. Of course, they could change it again, so like the same way they did with Yao Guang. I genuinely think Archer got another buff. His best in slot team is now like Buff Sparkle, Asheville, and then Sustain. Why? Have you guys not seen the buffs in his follow-ups? What do you mean why? The guy has high-ass follow-up multipliers. Puts 40% defense down. Has crit damage buffing. And then if you get his E1, that's 36% more vulnerability. And he keeps following up every time you attack because he gains charges. So he does probably significant damage. Has the buffing of a Harmony, if not stronger, if you get his E1. And, I mean, yeah. Yeah, that's the other thing. With him, if you, even if you don't use Silverwolf, if you go like the traditional route of E2 Sparkle, so a Archer on the Genius set with E2 Sparkle and Asheville hits 100% defense shred. Or near it, at least. Somewhere around there. Oh yeah, you probably need Asheville's light cone to hit 100%. Without it, you're at like 90 something. It's not much of a buff. I would say, like, I want to go out of my way to pull it if I already had, like, Tribby, Silverwolf, and Cypher. But it's nice that he has another third slot option for some people out there who can't share those characters with Archer. So it's like you could get Asheville, temporarily make him work in an Archer team so you don't feel like he's just sitting there. And then you can, you know, transition to putting him in his best in slot follow up team later in the version. I think that's kind of nice. So the guy can work with Archer, he can work with the older follow up DPSs, and then he may be able to do main DPS decently well too. No, I don't think Asheville is gonna get nerfed. The only thing I see getting nerfed possibly is his E1. His base kit isn't actually like the most broken thing ever, but his E1 combined with his base kit makes him like really fucking strong. It's kind of dumb. I mean, I'm not sure. I have to wait for the gameplay to see if he actually just responds to every single skill Archer does. Because if he does, that would be that would be some. A hunt buffing everyone. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't expect this shit either, Bronte. Like people were dead ass in my chat telling me about him having basically harmony buffs a few days ago, and I was like instantly shutting the notion down of like, nah, dude, this guy's a hunt path. Like that doesn't make any sense. But like, oh my fucking goodness, that shit aged poorly. I mean, I don't give a shit if Silverwolf SP has a global passive, man. People will always cry about whatever the fuck. People will obviously farm it on social media, especially. But who cares? Just look at what Cassie passive did. What did it do? It did fucking nothing. Okay? The only people who exaggerated it, or majority of them, were people who didn't like HSR or straight up just didn't play it. Like that shit was so overblown back then. Does he need Avon? No. High key, like, if I were someone looking to get into Asheville, let's kind of think about it. He might be another E2 Don Hung merchant. I know it sounds expensive, but if you got Don Hung free, that shit dead ass sounds juicy. I mean, most of the HSR so-called CCs that quit because of the global passive were already basically out of the game. I remember talking about this like back a while ago, like literally when this entire thing happened. The majority of CCs you saw, like Gotcha Smack, Tectone, a few others, right? Like these people who are like, oh my god, I'm gonna quit this game and I'm fucking done with all this shit. It's like I made a video calling them out and saying they didn't already play HSR. Like this was already happening. Gotcha Smack was making fucking nearly no videos on HSR, non-existent. He came back for like a short period to I think either slander Firefly or Fei Xiao. I think he was slandering Firefly, yeah. And he accidentally showed Firefly clearing better than Fei Xiao. Okay, that's just kind of funny. But like, and then you had Tectone, who obviously just didn't play HSR anymore and was just instigating, and you had the other CCs doing the same. Keep in mind, this guy Gotcha Smack, I literally remember this shit, man. I can't believe I still remember this shit. He misplayed on Firefly on purpose so that it would clear the same as the Fei Xiao when Firefly should have cleared one cycle faster. And keep in mind, his number one reason for slandering Firefly back then was because he said that Firefly was too reliant on Ruan Mei. It's like the game gave him a big fuck you because they then released a golden token shop like a patch after, and so everybody got a free Ruan Mei. So this thing of like, oh, Firefly has too much reliance on Ruan Mei just went out the fucking window. Oh yeah, exactly, Bronte. Like they went from Genshin glazing and constructive criticism, then they moved to HSR and started absolutely shitting on like all these, Genshin and all that shit and causing drama and shit. Then Wuwa came out and they went to Wuwa to start doing the gotcha tribalism and farming it, and they're kind of like parasites, to be honest. Yeah, I had to when I made my videos around the Wuwa Annie and I was addressing the hypocrisy of shit, uh, like Gotcha Smack and Tectone were trying to change the argument to that the free 5-star golden token and HSR doesn't matter because Ruan Mei was power crept and she's like useless in teams, which was genuinely the dumbest shit I've ever had to hear. What's the best in slot dot team currently? It's Heislands, Kafka, Cyrene, and Huohuo or Don Hung PT. But I'm pretty sure after Huohuo gets these buffs on Annie, it'll probably be Huohuo. Can't wait for them to complain the free sparkle only works with Archer. Oh, I've already heard from a few people in my comments, Bronte, that people are saying the reason we're getting a free sparkle is that it's a bad sign for the power creep and HP inflation to come. So that free sparkle won't mean anything after a few patches. So yeah, they're already getting on it, man. Black Swan, according to Calcs and a lot of people who did tests, generally, although Black Swan can be better in some situations, Cyrene is still better because Heislands is just that strong. So Cyrene's constant buffing on Heislands ends up outperforming Black Swan most of the time. That's sad. It is, but like at the same time, if we want to be fair, one, this allows you to free up Cyrene, since the difference between Black Swan and Cyrene isn't like something huge. But also, Cyrene's next best investment is at E2, while Swan's is at E1. So, if you're someone who doesn't want to go the whole length of putting 3 cost into Cyrene, but you don't mind 2 into Swan, then Swan ends up probably coming out on top. It depends. Opportunity cost, like always. I do think the best value in it is probably just freeing up Cyrene for another team. Why Swan isn't in the free selector? Hmm. I don't know. Do you recommend pulling for Yao Guang if you're going for Silverwolf SP? Yes, but with how many people are annoyingly cautious about Yao Guang, which like it is what it is, I would say if you want to be like 100% confident, just wait until A&E, and then maybe we might have better insight then of if there will be some Yao Guang replacement. It's like 99% chance not fucking happening, but that 1% chance if you want to be safe. Anyways, Yao Guang will probably rerun in 4.3. I don't think anything's going to change by the Annie, though. Like, if they truly wished to power creep Yao Guang without people being aware of it, they're probably going to put that Yao Guang power creep near the end of version 4 so that they could still sell her rerun. I don't know why people are waiting. Nothing's going to change at that time. Good luck, Bronte. The only way Blade works with Silverwolf is if he ends up being an Elation sustain. If not, no. He's not going to be on that team. I think giving free standard units on your first Annie is fine. Hot take. I think it's fine. Because there's almost always like one or two standard characters who are still decently meta like a year into the game. But after the first anniversary, yeah, I'm going to be honest, we got to move on, bro. Unless you're like continuously buffing the standard units to make them actually like decently worth it, then nah, like we got to move on to some bigger things. Donong PTs till the end of 4.0? No clue. No Himiko, but E6 Branya is crazy, Bronzy. Blade SP will be in the Asheville Avon team. I mean, to be honest, I I don't think Blade is going to be a DPS. So you might genuinely be right. I don't. We got Himiko's team. We got a follow-up team. And then we got the possibility of Sampo being a DPS 2 all in the second half of version 4. Like, can they fit another one with Blade? I don't know, man. I think he's probably going to be like a sustain or a support. I don't know. I think Blade might be 4.3 now that I think about it. Because he shouldn't be 4.1. And Nihilux got moved away from 4.3 according to Anon. So there's like a blank space of two of the dripped characters who can land on 4.3. I'm going to say Blade is probably in 4.3. I don't think Welt is going to be follow-up. Doesn't really make sense with the way his kit works. There's a higher chance of him being like an Acheron buff or something. How does Wuwa's story compare to Amphorius? Um, it was good. It was good. People are overhyping it a lot. That isn't to say it's bad. It is good. I genuinely believe it's good. But I'd say it's like near the level of what was that one patch in Amphorius? Was it 3.3? with the Aquila boss and like the Hyacine and Phanon shit. Like it's probably on the level of that patch. It's high, but people are acting like it just shat on every single other gacha in history. Yeah, Wuwa has better presentation for sure. That's probably what makes a lot of these people think the way they do, is they get allured by the presentation being better. But yeah, Gotcha Smack overreacting. I mean, he did the same thing in 2.8 with Chisa. No, I think he just likes exaggerating his reactions because it gets engagement. I'm gonna be completely honest. Gotcha Smack is currently probably the same way with Wuwa that he was with HSR when he was like no longer too in it, right? Like when he was really in Wuwa, the glaze was pretty high, but these days he is way more critical of Wuwa, and it's kind of similar to what happened to him over time in HSR, in my opinion. He's no longer in that honeymoon phase, basically. I have a feeling every character on the upcoming 5-star selector will get buffed, outside of the ones already being buffed. I do think, with them going so hard for Firefly, and considering Acheron's popularity, I do think Acheron will probably get a buff in this version, or early version 5. But I think it makes the most sense in this version. I see Acheron getting a buff. It just doesn't make sense to blue ball Acheron mains for this long. I imagine she's in the next batch. Yeah, Jing Yuan could also use a buff. That's why I believe I said when like I talked about the selector when I finally made a video on it and it was confirmed. I told people, I remember I was like, obviously Sparkle's the best value, Kafka's the second best value, Avin's third because he's a sustain, and the rest of the DPSs suck. But there is a chance, especially since some of these characters are older and some are actually decently popular, they end up getting buffed. So, you know, you could play the game where like maybe you don't want buff Sparkle, you don't want to invest in Dot, you don't care about getting another sustain like Avin. You just invest in one of these DPSs and hope they get buffed eventually so you can use them on another team. That is real, bro. That is a reality. I mean, let's be honest, bro. They don't give a fuck about our Gen team, man. Let's be completely real, man. We don't know shit about Evanesia. I mean, probably. I mean, you guys need to understand, every single Elation damage dealer is going to have Yao Guang being a best in slot by probably a fucking mile. Okay? Like, this is just going to be a consistent theme. But we don't have something that I can go off of, like Silverwolf's gimmick ult and obviously her wanting mono Elation. Like, Evanesia isn't like this. She seems to be a hyper carry, which, you know, maybe she consumes SP similar to Sparksy, so Yao Guang's SP matters more. I don't know. I think Yao Guang's relevance in a Evanesia team is probably less as compared to her relevance in a mono Elation Sylvie team, because her SP positivity is like super important for Sparksy. E1. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty funny now looking back at it. Like, everybody was so confused why they added Topaz to the golden token shop. And it's like, now it's pretty obvious. It's kind of obvious, man. Who should I get on my lightning only? Should I get Kafka or Acheron? Probably Acheron, because, like, lightning only, Kafka. So you can't even use any of the dog characters with Kafka. That shit sounds questionable, to say the least. At least with Acheron, you could maybe do some bullshittery with, like, Asheville, since the guy's so generally good at buffing. Have you quit Woowa? No. Why? Because of the amount of HSR videos I'm making lately? This is normal, bro. We finally got a beta and shit, and it's a new planet, so there's a lot to talk about. Yeah, once Cyberpunk is finished, there's a real chance I might quit Woowa. But until then, don't worry, your boy's staying. I mean, Fei Xiao's a DPS. She was obviously going to get power crept at some point. Like, DPS is getting power crept, most people don't care about as much as, like, best in slot supports and shit. Because you fully expect a DPS to get power crept, especially in HSR of all things. It's pretty normal. Also, Fei Xiao, like, keep in mind, right? Anon said Asheville ain't getting his best in slot main DPS till damn near the end of version 4. If this is true, then Fei Xiao would have lasted as the strongest follow-up DPS in the game, or main DPS, for like 2 years. Like, that's pretty long. I'm not gonna lie. That's pretty fucking long. No, Cyberpunk is after the Annie patch in 3.4. Annie patch is on 3.3. Isn't he just a sub DPS? Yeah, but he's from 4.x. And Archer, or sorry, Fei Xiao's from 2.x. There's like a real shot that running that guy hyper carry is dead ass better. I mean, people still use Ruan Mei with Dahlia and sustainless clears for break sometimes. Like, people still use Ruan Mei. Heard you can now achieve 100% death shred thanks to Asheville? Yeah. With Fei Xiao? I'm pretty sure Asheville with his light cone plus Fei Shao having her light cone, which gives her defense shred, puts you near 100%. I mean, that was only with E1, Bronte. At E0, not really, but she had such a broken E1 at the time that massively increased the damage of her follow-up attacks that made it that way. And then they fucking nerfed it. Oh, I was so pissed. I was so pissed when that shit happened, man. Oh, it's 54% death shred on our light cone? Oh, yeah, it hits 100% then. I thought it was less. My bad. I mean, I'm not guaranteed quitting Wua, but like, Wua is just like kind of there for me. I will say, it's not even about just the game itself, but like the community discussion in HSR about like characters and meta and future shit, it's like way bigger than Wua. And it makes for a lot more videos that I can make and more interesting discussions. But Wua TC is like a cesspool of people who don't actually care about talking about TC and care more about pushing their agenda that either the game does have power creep or doesn't have power creep. And they usually take it to like extremes on both sides. Yeah, exactly. Like, it's probably more likely going to be a break. I've done this with Wua a lot of times, by the way. Like, to be honest, I think more people should normalize this. You don't need to force yourself to play a game every single day constantly without taking breaks. Before I started doing this content creation shit, keep in mind, I didn't hate these gacha games, but sometimes I just got burnt out, and I take like a few weeks, sometimes months off of the game, and I just come back and play it again. Shit is normal. Wait, that reminds me. What do I need to farm? Oh, nothing. I already got basically everything except the weekly mats. Sparksy, Sparksy, Sparksy. If only you had better Eidolon investment, I would have just made you a main DPS. Sadly, your Eidolon investment is butts. What team building is painfully streamlined. There's no fun in it. Eh. What about quick swap, Bronte? Kekvin saying Elation is worse than Remembrance. I don't fucking care, bro. Like, I think I'm starting to understand how like Wuwa, the Kuro shills feel when they like really don't care for what other people have to say. Now, I don't go out of my way to actively like hate on people who have these opinions, but I just don't care, bro. People say this shit every single time a new path comes. I mean, let's be honest. I don't even understand why they are saying this, right? Why is it that I say that? Sparksy's Lycone jump isn't anywhere near Cassie's. Yao Guang's Lycone jump is fucking damn near non-existent. Okay, like both Yao Guang and Sparksy can use free-to-play cones that only have like a 20 to 25% jump. You compare that shit to Cassie and Evernight, both of their Lycones are like fucking 40%. Okay? Both of them. And this time, they aren't baiting people who aren't as, future rail like as me with like a tribby and making them think that's going to be best in slot for the unit. They're actually selling the sub DPSs first so people immediately know what teammates the main push is going to use without getting scammed, right? And then last but not least, you don't need to fucking play this path, bro. Like, the majority of characters in this version probably aren't even going to be Elation, so it's completely fine if someone doesn't like the gimmick of Elation. Like, to be optimal for AHA instant speed, you want at least 3 Elation characters or more, right? Obviously, EMC can fill in a blank there, and so that technically means you need like 2 other limited Elation characters, right? But it's like, in my opinion, this is probably the easiest new path to ever invest to in, like, compared to before. Just think about it, right? 3.7 is only Cyrene. That's the only new limited character. 3.8, only new limited character is Dahlia. 4.1, only new limited character is Asheville. 4.0, there are 2 new limited characters, but the universal Elation support has her banner last the entire patch like Cyrene, right? Like, they made it way easier to invest into the new path as compared to like any other team or meta before. This is the easiest. Yeah, and you get a free sparkle. So it's like, if you want to get a taste for the Elation team, but maybe you don't want to get Sylvie, like, you can genuinely just get Sparkle Yao Guang, use buff Sparkle, free Don Hung PT, bam, right? You have a Elation team, just like that. No, they don't both release at the same time, Bronte. Sparksy is on the second half. Nah, not even more Solus. I was scrolling Twitter and I'm getting recommended all this fucking gotcha beef because obviously I look up gotcha leaks and shit. Um, Apparently Saint Tontaz commented something inflammatory towards Blazon on Twitter. So now I'm pretty sure they're not even in cahoots anymore either. Saint Tontaz is attacking everybody, bro. He doesn't give a shit. Shit is insane. Do you think we'll get a Remembrance character in 4.x? Maybe? Maybe? I haven't even watched that shit, Bronte. I just don't got the energy for it anymore, man. Like, if something really bothers me, I'll obviously make a video on it like I always do, but it takes a lot to usually bother me unless it's like something big. Also, it's like constantly feeding into the drama shit, man. It makes me want to talk about and give my opinion more, and it's like, it's unhealthy. Goon is better than drama? Exactly. That's why I'm posting Alia all the time on my community posts. A daily reminder of what is superior. Already seeing a lot of people saying to skip Yao Guang for the Elation team. Is this the gacha reading debuff? Yeah, basically, it's the gacha reading debuff. Nah, I didn't see that. Yeah, my streams are like not even streams. I don't really do what other creators do. I mean, technically, this is like Twitch's equivalent of just chatting, I guess. But even then, usually people in just chatting will like do something. I'm just sitting here walking around with my Cassie for a long time while reading chats, talking with you guys. I prefer it this way though. Better discussions, get more shit out. Yeah, but the last stream was only 20 minutes long and I cut it close because, what was it? Oh yeah, I wanted my family to sleep. Appreciate that, Irokumata. My E0 DPS Irene cleared APOC. Nice. Acheron better get buffed. I think it's probably going to be the next Nova Flare that Acheron gets buffed. It just makes sense. If they leave it any longer until like version 5, I think that's a little too long. For sure. Because you guys got to keep in mind, like, that might not sound too bad to wait until version 5, but by the time we hit version 5, we're definitely going to have more HP inflation and shit. And the difference that Cypher made will just go out the window, so I do expect an Acheron Nova Flare in this version. What would they even buff? The first thing I can think of is our Eidolons literally immediately. But of course, her stack ability. And probably remove the restriction she has in base kit. Make it so that she's like the Herda and only wants one other Nihility. And what else? Or just completely get rid of it, to be honest, either or. I mean, just buff multipliers, shit like that. To be honest, if Asheville was Nihility, which to be honest, with his buffs, he should be, guy would have been fucking disgusting for Acheron. It's actually kind of unfortunate for Acheron mains. If he was Nihility, would have been absolutely disgusting. That would have been like Acheron getting her own version of Dahlia, and then she also gets buffed later on. Do you think there is a point in picking Sparkle from the free 5-star when she probably won't be best in slot in either of the Elation teams? Me personally, yes, obviously. The buff Sparkle, you guys need to understand, is the strongest hyper carry buffer in the game right now, right? There's gonna be more teams that obviously aren't Elation related. Her SP positivity allows teams to be completely smooth in their SP usage, and especially, I'd argue the best part, free Archer, right? Anybody who's gotten a free Archer, just grabbing that buff Sparkle makes it so that you have another team that can clear endgame, which is pretty nice. That's why I'm picking buff Sparkle on both my accounts. On my Anoxa account, it makes way more sense because that one actually treats my Archer as like my second main DPS. But on this Cassie account, I'm still getting buff Sparkle. I don't care. I'm still choosing her. There isn't anyone else who comes close. I don't have Archer. I mean, there's still no one better than Sparkle. Did you give up on Sparksy? No. What? I'm going for Silverwolf's team. Why in the world would I give up on Sparksy? Especially after those leaks. Are you insane? Silverwolf might genuinely be bricked without Sparksy, bro. I'm not exaggerating. There isn't anyone else in the game that comes anywhere close to Sparksy in terms of punchline gen. So if her ult is reliant on that shit, I don't even want to imagine what it's like not having Sparksy. Just pull Silverwolf dupes? Yeah. Historically, the anti-main pushes have something in their E2 that lessens the requirement for their ult activation. So maybe, but I doubt it'd make up the difference of losing Sparksy. Yao Guang is probably going to be best in slot for Silverwolf. Not just decent. Her SB positivity is through the roof. No, Yao Guang is still in the Silverwolf team. Because her SB positivity is disgusting, and that's what Sparksy needs to do her punchline generation. You guys need to understand, Yao Guang is basically a Siren. So you can't think of her as like this niche support for only one specific team. She's probably going to be wanted by literally every Elation DPS in this version. It's much more similar to a Siren. Yeah, going best in slot for Silverwolf and Sakura. Sakura is basically confirmed from the preset team. Silverwolf is purely theory from me, but using common sense. Because Sparksy is now like basically confirmed, damn near guaranteed to be best in slot for Silverwolf because of her punchline gen, you need an SP positive third slot. Now, obviously, Buff Sparkle wouldn't be here because then you wouldn't be getting as much SP gen from Yao Guang. You'd be losing a ton of Elation damage buffing. You know, you're not buffing the entire team, which makes no sense in a mono team. So Sparkle obviously isn't going in there. EMC sounds like a hyper carry buffer, so he's also not going in there since you want team buffs. Yao Guang has the buffs, has the SP positivity. It seems like Silverwolf's planar ornament requires her to reach a certain amount of Elation damage percent, and the only person who gives this is Yao Guang and EMC, right? So I think it's kind of obvious Yao Guang is getting put in here. There's literally no other better option. Didn't the buffs make Sparkles buff AoE? No. You have to hold her thing. What's it called? I don't remember what it is. She needs to specifically. I think some buffs, yes, some buffs do apply to everyone team wide, but shit like the res pen and like another buff that I'm forgetting off the top of my head don't apply to like everybody in the team. It's only towards the person Sparkle is specifically buffing. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So like if you run a Sparkle in the team, sure the main DPS gets some decent buffs, but the entire team as compared to Yao Guang buffs, like it's fucking astronomical probably. No, buff Sparkle also gives Res Pen now, Bronte. That is targeted towards a specific person she buffs. So you're losing Res Pen as well. The attack and damage deepen still go to everyone? Yeah, but it's not really enough. It's like 30% vulnerability and an attack buff. I mean, Yao Guang's Res Pen and vulnerability alone basically match this. She gives like, I think at max level 15% pen and 10% vulnerability from her Elation skill. And this doesn't include like the Aha instance and her massive Elation damage buffing, which is the majority of her kit, and her SP positivity. It's also like you can't hit this 3 Elation mark for Sparksy, and like 3 Elation matters, right? Like people need to understand this. Having 3 Elations on the team matters because Aha's speed for the Aha instance increases up to a cap of 3 Elation characters. So it makes it way, way easier to get faster Aha instance with more Elation characters. So in the first place, it's like you kind of gotta choose between EMC or Yao Guang until this fucking Elation sustain comes out. And I think this is something worth mentioning. Yao Guang does damage. A lot of people don't take this into account. Every time an Aha instant goes, if you're using Sparkle theoretically, the only people doing an Elation skill would be Silverwolf and Sparksy. But you have Yao Guang also doing damage if you have her in there. So she has the damage, the SP positivity, the Elation damage buffing that seemingly Silverwolf might need for her best in slot planar set. All that shit. Does Yao do 1 mil to 800k or 400k? Depends. To be honest, it's hard to say because all the current gameplay is against like fucking shield endgame. So, like the numbers are kind of skewed sometimes. But in the first place, Yao should do more damage in the future when there's an Elation sustain. Because obviously this sustain would probably buff, the Elation team. So her damage would go up. There's a decent chance that Silverwolf buffs Yao Guang damage too somehow. They'll probably pull a Cassie, where she has like a little bit of buffing to the team. Is there a reason why you're running in circles? Because I want to talk to chat. So I'm not focusing on the actual game. True, Bronte, true. I mean, I can probably check currently how much a Yao Guang Elation skill does at E0S1. Let me see. Yeah. Let me check it real quick. But it's going to be against Shill. Let me skip ahead to the Elation skill. Alright, how much does this do? So, oh fuck. Um, so against 3 targets and their shill boss on 4.0, Yao Guang's Elation skill does 800k. This is an E0S1 Yao with full E0S1 team and Dan Heng. How many punchline? I think it was like 48, something like that. 49. Non-chill would be like 500k ish. Yeah, but then once again, like when they get their Elation sustain in Silverwolf, that shit's probably going up again anyway. So it's safe to say that's probably what her damage is gonna look like in the future when they get their mono Elation team. E1 Yao. Her E1 is really strong. I couldn't get A method even if I wanted to. I'd have to spend money. Which is like, no. I'm good. Yeah, Yao's still good at E0, obviously, for the Elation teams. But her E1 is like a noticeable upgrade. I remember it being like 30% overall. So you get Spark, and that's for Sparksy main DPS, by the way. It might be more with Silverwolf, might be, because you now have more Elation characters doing damage. Which E1 is worth getting? Kafka's, Heisland's, or E9's? To be honest, the highest value Eidolon there is between E1 Heisland's and Evernight. Just pick whichever one you want, depending on which team is weaker and needs it more. What's better, E2 Evernight Hyper or E0 Remembrance Flagship? E2 Evernight. Evernight is the only DPS in the game currently where the E0 to E2 jump is like similar to Phenon's. They made her incredibly cracked. You think Wu will give a free collab character? Maybe Rebecca. I think if they do give a free character, it would definitely be Rebecca. But I'm like iffy on Wu and free characters these days, not gonna lie. I mean, the thing is, the only problem Evernight main DPS has is RMC reliance. Like, that's her number one flaw that Cassie doesn't. Because obviously, if you run Cassie main DPS, it's mono rem. But if you really want to run main DPS Evernight, the RMC reliance is heavily there. Not David. David shouldn't even be in the collab according to leakers. It'll just be Lucy and Rebecca. Is that a problem? RMC is free? Well, the thing is, Bronte, in this game, the MC is busted. You know what I'm saying? Uh, so like, HMC for break, EMC for elation. A lot of people. you know, like this game genuinely has. Okay, I'm not gonna go out and say it because I haven't played that many gachas, but of all the gachas I played, HSR's MC is always the highest value meta wise in any game I've ever played. Like they make this guy good in fucking everything. RMC especially was like an anomaly. I play a lot of gachas and I can say yes, yeah. Oh yeah, true, Bronzy. The only reason they made RMC Remembrance was that so he could buff the Memo Sprite users. That's basically it. Would replacing RMC with Buff Sparkle, potentially E1 or E2, make up for it in Evernight teams? At E2? Probably. Actually, no. Because the buffs wouldn't be on the Memo Sprite, right? The res pen and crit damage buff wouldn't be on the Memo Sprite. But the Vuln attack, which is useless for an HP scaler, and then possible E2 defense shred would. Nah. No. Yeah, this is the problem with remembrance characters, is that if you don't specifically buff their Memo Sprite no matter what, then it's really tricky to use them. Oh, nice, Uni. Glad to hear that. I'm on 75. I have like the same polls on both accounts. Nearly the same. What is this account getting again? Oh, like Yao Sparksy. Yao Sparksy. Holy burp. Who's your best Rushy Dairy girl? Alia. That's the one I like the most. EMC is playable on Annie. That's what Anon Leak said. Holy red. Favorite anime? Incredibly mainstream answer. It's probably One Piece. I have about 200 pulls for Yao Sparksy. Do you think I'll be able to get E1 Yao with the worst case scenario? I mean, we get like 120 pulls free to play in the next patch. So that means you have 320 pulls. Worst case scenario? No. Because worst case scenario is like around 80 pity for the average 5-star. And if you lose every 50-50 and go to that pity, you'd be able to get E0 both, but not an E1. But with realistic luck, you should be more than good, probably. Did your polling plan change? No, it's the same. This account is getting Sparksy Yao in preparation for Silverwolf, and the other account is getting Ceridra for Anoxa. And obviously Archer's getting the buff Sparkle. You still think Himiko SP will be Break? Yeah. I still feel like Break makes the most sense for Himiko. She could be something else for sure. She could have like a unique gimmick, like what Phanon did, and not be anything that we've had before. However, I just think Break fits her the most, so I'm kind of sticking to it. Are you pulling La Mancha in any of your accounts? Probably not. I may have something cooking in the background, but probably not. All I'm saying is, if I log on to an account with a Fei Xiao, don't fucking question it, bro. Okay, don't be ops. Leave me alone. Do we know anything about the elements of the 4.2 characters? Yai's physical elation, according to Anon. Your Phanon account has Fae, that's an Asheville for you? Nah. I'll probably just get another one. My Phanon account is, it's hard to even call it my account anymore. Basically, I have someone else who mainly plays on it, so I'd rather let them pull whoever they want instead. I'm already greedy enough. Also, that Yao on that account is like kind of undercooked. Or that Fae, sorry. Reported for account sharing? No. Is Yao Guang gonna be the Trivia version 4? Yeah. Did Silverwolf element get confirmed? No. Do you know if Shiroha is a reputable leaker? Yeah. Think so. I heard Sylvie was imaginary. I mean, it kind of fits. I feel like she just stayed quantum, though. Could be wrong. Are you pulling Yai? No. I'm pulling Sylvie. I made a bet a little while back because I couldn't really decide between Yai and Sylvie since Sylvie got changed to main push and I grew interest in her. And what I basically told myself was whoever ends up synergizing the best with Sparksy Yao Guang is the one I'm gonna pull for. And it seems like Silverwolf won that bet, so I'm getting Silverwolf. You said they leaked Silverwolf planar. What does it do? It's just a crit damage buff, I'm pretty sure. It scales off of the Elation damage percent that the character has.
Let me see. Honkai Star Rail leaks. Where the hell is it, man? Okay, here it is. So it is Punk Lord Stage 0. Increases the wearer's elation by 10%. When elation reaches 40 or 80% for the first time in battle, increases the wearer's crit damage by 20 or 30%. That's likely Silverwolf's planar. Just going Hakushin? Oh, true, my bad. Forgot. I didn't understand the new set. Is the elation stat on characters a percent or a digit? Percent, I'm pretty sure. Because it says percent now. Yeah, it says percent. The biggest elation buffer is Yao Guang. Mr. Streamer, can you predict that the devs will add more slots to our save teams in HSR so I don't only have one left? Thank you. I need it to come true. Do you guys think I'm like some prophet or something? I don't even use the team function all that much. I don't even have this issue. I am simply unhealthily in the know of this game's marketing tactics. So I can just make hypotheticals. I've played this game too unhealthily. When Gabby sees his shadow, we have 6 more weeks of power creep. I'm not a groundhog, man. What the fuck? You're a capybara, those are holy? What the glaze? This is not my usual chat, man. What happened to my chat? Gabby Glaze isn't something I normally see. How much longer do we have? Ooh, what are we, like 4 days away? Oh, I can't wait, man. I can't wait. That buff sparkle is gonna hit like crack on my free-to-play account. You should get Dot on an account. No, I'm good, bro. Nah, I'm good. My Anoxa account is probably gonna get Emiko SP when they're done getting Cyrene and Ceridra. Sparksy? Did I say Sparksy? I meant Buff Sparkle. No, this is my account I spent money on. My free-to-play account has E6 Anoxa, E1 Triby, E0 S1 Sunday, Don Hung, E1 S1 Archer, and that's it. Asheville can play with Topaz. My bad. A sub DPS with a sub DPS. I see. Yeah, probably. To some extent. Yeah, chill, bro, chill. Oh shit. I'll do this tomorrow. Are we even getting a crap ton of jades this patch, or same thing as last version? It depends if there's any like surprise jades. But the current pull count for 4.0 is basically the same as every other previous point 0, which is what I said. HSR is pretty consistent. So it's about 125 pulls. I have E6 Topaz. Oh, then that probably works a little better, yeah. You can run Topaz with Asheville. I thought getting 100 pulls was 1 in 10,000. The last 3 patches in a row have been 100 pulls. Or 100 plus. I'm not sure, raid leader. Topaz will be buffed. Maybe. To be honest, I could see her getting buffed. But I think they have focuses on other characters, like probably Dylan Acheron right now, after 4.2. Firefly mains are fucking eating, bro. Yeah, Bronte, one of the best things, I've talked about this about HSR before, they don't decrease the pull count for only adding one new limited character. I don't know why, but they don't. So you basically get the same pull count no matter what. Now 4.1 will obviously have a lower pull count because it's only 4 weeks, which is unfortunate, but if it weren't for that, they'd probably give the normal 90 to 100 pulls. Skipping Elation because I'm sticking with my DPS Hunt, AoE, and Remembrance teams. Understandable. Alright guys, I think I'm going to end the stream here. It's pretty late in the morning for me now. Finally got a real stream off, unlike the other one that was 20 minutes. Love you all. Hope you have a great day. Hope you have a great night. Yao Guang, best in slot.